So during that part right there, it's extremely important to have a real estate agent, because this is where things can fall out of escrow. So if you don't have an agent that's staying on top of things and ensuring that you're meeting your deadlines, this is very, very crucial, because in the beginning, you got pre-approved for your home loan right here in this box. Later on, once you've already identified your property, you're gonna get pre-approved again. So all your documents are gonna come back or whatever. So something to keep in mind. So after that, we're gonna obtain funds, close on the property, and then take possession of your home. So again, this is a very small, quick snapshot of what the home buying process looks like, okay? All right, so a few housekeeping rules. First thing is the bathroom. If you guys don't know where it is, it's down the hall to the left when the door is open. There's refreshments and food over here in the kitchen. If you can turn your phones on mute or vibrate, that would be good, because we're going to be videotaping. And then also, if you do decide to take any pictures or do anything, any posting of any type on Facebook, Instagram, any social media sites, I just ask that you use my hashtag Tony's Home Value. I appreciate it. Okay. So, during the presentation, I want you guys to really pay attention, because I do have other gift cards and other giveaways that we're going to have. So we want to make sure you guys are listening. So we'll be asking questions throughout the presentation to make sure you have your listening ears on. Okay? So after our presentation, we'll have what we call a Q&A session and a panel discussion. So at that time is when we'll answer any questions. So during the presentation, we'd like for you guys to just hold tight on your questions and just wait until we have our Q&A panel discussion. And at that time, you can ask all the questions you like. We also encourage you to write down a question on the sheet of paper. If you don't have a sheet of paper, let me know, but everybody should have a sheet of paper to write down a question. We'll put that in our little bucket, and we'll pull it out and we'll ask those questions that you guys have, okay? And then after that, there will be an opportunity for anybody here that's interested in actually getting pre-approved on the spot. Carlton will be set up to do some pre-approvals on the spot if anybody's interested in that, or to at least get the process started. And then you'll also have an opportunity to schedule any appointments that you like with me, Carlton, or Samara afterwards. Okay? So that's pretty much how the day is going to look. So I'd like to introduce our first presenter for today. It's Ms. Samara Cummings with ProSource Consultant. She is our credit specialist, and she's extremely important in this entire process, you guys. So let's welcome Samara. Okay, first of all, let's please give Ms. Tony a round of applause. So I really appreciate her. You should appreciate her too for bringing the information to you, okay? So just to give you a little bit of information about me, I work for, my company is ProSource Consultants, and I'm a credit specialist for ProSource Consultants. We offer credit restoration, we also offer homeowners insurance, and notary loan services, okay? And I'm located in the city of Hoffman. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, my degree is in business administration. I started my career out in the banking field, did that for about 3 years, and then I moved into the human resources field. And I worked for a Fortune 500 company for about 15 years in human resources. I did that because I enjoy helping people. So eventually I left corporate America and I started my own company, ProSource Consultants, where I offer consumer services pretty much across the board. I'm kind of like a one-stop shop. So that's a little bit about me. So Tony kind of went over the home buyer process. I'm just going to quickly review with you. So she talked about hiring your agent, qualifying your credit, you would do that with me, securing your financing, something you would do with Carlton, find your home, make an offer, and then you go through escrow, close, and then you would receive your keys. So now that you've gone through the whole buying process, now let's talk a little bit more about what I do, okay? So how many of you know your credit score? You You know your credit score. So you checked your credit score within like the last 3 months or so? Okay, good. That's good news. That's great news. If you haven't, you should. It's kind of like, you know, you go to the dentist for checkups every 6 months. You need to do the same thing with your credit. It's so important that you check your credit health at least every 6 months. You get a free credit report from annualcredit.com. So write that down too. I want you guys to definitely pay attention because I have questions for you too that you can win a prize for. So you get a free credit report once a year from annualcreditreport.com. The other sites, like for example Equifax, Experian, they charge you. So you want to take advantage of getting your free credit report. So I kind of alluded to the next question. How many of you know the credit reporting agencies?
Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
Absolutely right. Good. So we're gonna have a little bit for you at the end. Okay? So I'm gonna talk more about credit and credit repair. I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna talk about the who, the what, the why, and then I'm gonna offer you some tips to maintain good credit. So we all know that in order to make big purchases, unless you're Oprah, right, you have to have good credit. And I know there's a lot of people out there that will say, oh no, you don't need credit, use cash for everything, but that is not how it works in most of our community. You have to have good credit along with cash, okay? So cash is king, credit is power, okay? So we talked about the different credit reporting agencies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Let's talk about the credit score ranges. So your credit score ranges anywhere from 300 to 850. How many of you have used Credit Karma to check your credit? Okay. If you've used Credit Karma to check your credit, you may have noticed in the past they had a score that was up to 900. And the reason why is because they have a credit scoring model called Vantage Score. Okay? So there's a FICO score and then there's what's called a Vantage score. FICO scores are what lenders use in order to qualify you for credit. Vantage score is something a little bit more, that was developed a little bit more recently, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So your scores range anywhere from 300 to 850. A good score is anywhere from about 680 and above. That's a great score, okay? Of course, 850 is excellent. A lot of people don't get into the 800 ranges. If you're like at a 750, you're still in an excellent range. So anywhere from 750 to 850. In order to get to an 850, you have to have a well-rounded report. And we're gonna kind of go over that a little bit. So let's talk about the differences between the FICO score and the Vantage score. So again, FICO score is what lenders use to qualify your credit. It was developed in 1956, ranges anywhere from 300 to 850. Used by most lenders and is found on Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, Credit Check Total, and Discover. The Vantage score was developed in 2006, and that's what you're going to see on Credit Karma. So if you're ever looking to find out what your real credit score is, you should not be using Credit Karma. Okay? And I know people follow it and they, they're happy when they get those notifications saying your credit score went up. That's all great. But if you want to really know what your credit score is, you need to either go to myfico.com or to Credit Check Total or one of the direct credit reporting agencies. Okay? Again, developed in 2006, Vantage scores are expanding. The only people that you will see using the Vantage score are more like smaller credit companies, store cards, things like that. So if you're making a major purchase, they're going to be using your FICO score. Okay? The Vantage score is found on Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, Privacy Guard, and then Experian's free credit report. So if it's free, it's good to say that it's probably a Vantage score that you're getting. Okay? It ranges for each individual person. I've seen it 20 points off and up to 100 points off. Yeah. So the national average, it actually went up. This is the national average for credit scores is anywhere between 700 and 720. So most people nowadays, there's so many credit repair companies, scores have gone up. Okay? And people are learning how to manage their credit score a little bit better
a low FICO score may result in a credit card rate that is twice that of a high FICO score, okay? So I'm gonna explain to you what that means. It just means basically, if you have a low credit score, you're gonna pay more for credit than someone who has a high FICO score, okay? So I'm gonna explain to you what that means. But what I want you to do is, as it relates to real estate, I want you to think in your mind, how much do you think you can afford for a home, okay? So let's say, hello, welcome, come on,
Hi.
have a seat.
It's okay, come on.
Think in your mind how much you can afford monthly for a payment, okay? And, I'm gonna use a number, let's say about $2,100 for a payment for your home, okay? And I'm gonna tie that into how credit affects that number. And I want you to write this down because this is really good information. This is a loan savings calculator, which is available to you. You don't have to use it just for a home, you can use it for anything. You can use it for a car, you wanna get credit for something, a business, this is what you can use for that, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change this to California. And this is on myfactor.com. And we're gonna use a home that is worth $400,000. And this is gonna give you an average, interest rate for California. For someone who has, let's say your credit score is 639, okay? So each person in here, your credit score is 639. You can get qualified for a loan at 620, okay? And there may be other options, but usually it's generally about 620, okay? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna change that number. So our home that we can afford is $2,200, okay? So looking at this chart right here, can everyone see it okay? Okay, so looking at this chart right here, okay, our credit score is 639, okay? The annual interest rate is 6.232. That's at 639 credit score. Our monthly payment is $24.58. Total interest rate paid is $484. And that's over a 30-year period, so don't get too shocked by that number, okay? That's over a 30-year period is how much interest you will pay. So if you set in your mind and said to yourself, I can only afford a payment of $2,200, can you afford this home? No. Why can't you afford it?
More than we can afford, it's 24 something.
$24.58, and that's because your credit score is 639, okay? So let's say you went to a credit repair specialist, or you did it yourself, because it's definitely something you can do yourself, and you raise your credit score up to 680. So now your interest rate is 5.039, your monthly payment is $21.57, and the total interest paid is $376,000. So can you afford the house now?
Yes.
Okay, and how much did you raise your interest, your score up? From 639 to 680, you raised your score by 41 points. 41 points. You can do that in a month. So you just saved yourself, you can now qualify for this home because you saved yourself money on the interest because you raised your credit score. The other interesting thing about this is the total interest paid if your score is at 639 is 484. But the total interest paid if you raise your score by 41 points is 376. So you just saved yourself $100,000 just by raising your score 41 points. You see how that works? How many of you want to save $100,000? If you're not raising your hand, I'm not understanding. You want to save $100,000? Okay, so is it worth waiting a couple months just to increase your credit score so you can save $100,000? It is. It's worth waiting for. So this is how it ties into your payment. That's how important credit is. That's why they say cash is king, but credit is power. You save yourself money. There's no reason why you can't improve your credit score. I would not start out thinking, I'm just gonna go with the low credit score, I'm gonna buy whatever it is I need. I would definitely take the time to improve my credit score. Okay, so write that down, use it, it's a very good tool to use. So I just dropped some nuggets for you guys, okay? So y'all understand. You just got some good information right there. All right? Okay, so I'm gonna move us back to our presentation.
Do we need to give a giveaway?
We did. We have one gift for her.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, so now let's talk about credit score factors. Let's talk about what actually goes into your credit, okay? So payment history weighs 35% of your credit, okay? So that's looking over the entire history of your credit, okay? Amount owed is 30% of your credit. That's credit utilization. So basically, when you're looking at credit utilization, you're looking at how much credit do you have? So let's say you have $1,000 credit that they're giving to you. And then how much do you owe on the credit? So if you have $1,000 and you owe $300, then you have 30% credit utilization. Okay? If you owe $100, then you have 10% utilization. You want to be somewhere around the 10% range in order to maximize your credit score. Okay? 30% is good, but to maximize your credit score, it needs to be at 10%. So if you have a lot of credit, you want to make sure that you pay it down. New credit is 10%, types of credit used is another 10%, and then length of credit history is another 15%. So I told you in order to get to that 850, you need to have a well-rounded credit report. Feel free to take pictures of that information. You want to have a well-rounded credit report. So that means that you need to have a major credit card. Major credit cards are MasterCard, Visa, Discover, or American Express. A mortgage payment is another good thing to have on your report. An installment loan. An installment loan can be an auto loan. Okay? So you want to have a well-rounded report. Inquiries, if you end up getting, if you're applying for new credit and you get an inquiry, it can drop your score anywhere from 2 to 20 points. So if you don't have a score that's going to give you the credit that you need, then you need to improve your score before you start applying for credit. You don't want to get inquiries and not get approved for credit. That's going to drop your score.